In this lesson, we're going to discuss how to remove the HTML tags from our emails. What do I mean by HTML tags? Well, HTML is what makes an email look pretty. If I look at the newsletter from Product Hunt here, I've got wonderful formatting. I've got images embedded, I've got animations embedded, and it just looks incredibly well put together. The same email message in plain text will look like what I've got here on the left. On the right, I have the rich formatting. On the left, I have the plain text. So the purpose of HTML in emails and in websites is to add both structure and some formatting. Let me quickly show you how to add some basic formatting using HTML. And this will also show us how HTML tags basically work. Say we have a regular plain text that reads, "Do not reply." Then this text will be displayed in the email in a standard default way. However, if we wanted to make this text stand out, you might consider using HTML to make this text bold. And you can do this by surrounding this piece of text with a tag, namely the B tag, B for bold. The way that HTML works is that there's a beginning and an ending tag. And that way we can mark where the bold text begins and where the bold text should end. One of the best places to see HTML in action, of course, is on the web. If you go to our website called example.com and then right-click on the page and go to View Source, you will get something like this. This is what the HTML code that's behind the website actually looks like. This is what the developer for the website will have actually written. And thanks to our browser, this code here is rendered like so. Looking at the HTML behind the website allows us to see a couple of things. For example, we can see here that there's a title called Example Domain. Example Domain sits in between two tags, an opening tag and a closing tag. And what this little bit of code does is it makes example domain show up here on our tab bar, for example. Another neat little trick that you can try out with this particular website or any website is inspecting particular elements. If I right-click and then select Inspect Element, I will see something like this. I'm going to move this over slightly, move this over slightly, and now what I can do is I can hover over a particular element from the HTML code, and my browser will highlight which bits of the website the piece of code is referring to. So, for example, right now I'm hovering over a heading, which is marked with the H1 tag, H for heading. If I move my mouse down a little bit, then I get to a paragraph. I can explode this here and select the text inside, but the paragraph as a whole is this bit here. And again, the HTML tag for this bit here has a P for paragraph at the beginning and at the end. So this is our heading, this is our paragraph, and both the heading and the paragraph are contained inside the body. And the body refers to the whole thing here. So that's a very short introduction to HTML tags. Let's see how HTML is used inside our corpus of emails. One of the emails that I've looked at in a bit more detail is the one with document ID number 2. This is the email with the file name beginning 00214. Let me show you what the body of this email looks like in Jupyter Notebook. This email is at position number 2 in our message column. So we can access this email with data.at square brackets 2 and then the string message in all caps. And what we get is something like this. Now, personally, this isn't the most helpful formatting here that we're getting. So let me show you how this email would look like in my Atom text editor, where the formatting is a bit more user-friendly. At the top, we've got the email header. Scrolling down, we get to the email body. And at the bottom here, with the syntax highlighting, you can easily spot the HTML tags. If I scroll down a bit further, I can show you there's a paragraph in this email, and you've got the do not reply part that's going to show up in bold due to the fact that it is surrounded by these bolding HTML tags. Now, these are the HTML tags that we're going to remove from our message bodies. We're going to clean our data in such a way that these HTML tags are no longer present. And the reason we're doing this is because we're interested in only the actual words for now, as well as the text with our bag of words approach in our naive Bayes classifier. So in a way, we're going to be treating these HTML tags just as we were treating punctuation, namely we're going to remove them. Back in Jupyter, let me add a markdown cell here, and that markdown cell is going to read removing HTML tags from emails. Using this @ property of the data frame, we've had a very efficient way of looking up and accessing a single value in the pandas data frame. This is where we specified the index name and the column name. When it comes to stripping out the HTML tags from this particular email, all the heavy lifting will be done for us by a Python module called BeautifulSoup. At the top, with our notebook imports, we're going to write from bs4 import BeautifulSoup. Then we'll hit Shift-Enter here, scroll back down, and just inside this cell here, where we've accessed a cell in our data frame, we'll create a variable called soup and set it equal to BeautifulSoup parentheses. Then we'll take the code that we've just written and just cut it, paste it inside here, put a comma after it, and then supply a string called html.parser. What I've just done is supply two arguments. The first one is the text that I would like to parse, and the second one is the parser that I would like to use. Now, the beautiful thing about Python is that it comes with an HTML parser that is ready to go. That is why we can just tell BeautifulSoup to use the built-in parser in Python with this string here. Now what we can do is print out the formatted version of this email. So let's write a print statement and then supply the following argument. We're going to say soup.printify. Parentheses, and hit Shift-Enter. What we see now is a printified version of the original text. So this is closer to what we saw in the Atom text editor that I used earlier. If I make it a bit larger, like so, you can see it a bit better. There we go. The only thing Jupyter doesn't do here is do the syntax highlighting on our tags. But other than that, with the indentation, you can actually tell which parts are HTML, and it's a lot more readable. All right, so we've seen how BeautifulSoup can printify a piece of text that contains HTML, but it can also remove all our tags. And this is actually the primary purpose of what we're going to be using it for. So just below this cell, let's remove all the HTML. And we can do that by calling the getText method on our soup object. So soup.get_text will remove our HTML. Now our output will no longer have any HTML in it. And you can verify this by looking at the output here. So for example, the bolding tags that used to surround do not reply have disappeared. All right, so that's pretty much it. All the heavy lifting has been done for us by Python module. In the next lesson, we're finally going to start tackling more of these emails. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all of our work, all of the cleaning, all the pre-processing into some Python functions. I'll see you there.